Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Rockwood number RM710-6. I have one removed from the packaging that we can take a look at. This is in the 630 finish, which means it means two things. It actually means three things. Number one, it's made of stainless steel. This happens to be a solid wire of stainless. Number two, it's in a brushed finish. And the third thing it means is that it's the most durable of all finishes. We would call this a natural finish. So if you're looking for the item most durable when it comes to what it will look like after months and years of use, this would be it. There would be no plating that will break off. There will be no sort of lacquer that will degrade. There will be no turning of the finish, except that you would probably ultimately end up not polishing it, but smoothing it where it's touched all the time, because it does have a brushed texture to it, albeit quite light. And that's what this is. Let's take some basic dimensional properties. So this ought to be 6 3/8 overall length. Yeah, that's because the diameter is 6 3/8. It has, therefore, a center to center of 6 inch. Okay, that's very important when you're looking for such a pole, that the center to center is how these are defined. The overall projection looks like it's about 1.5 inches. That means the eye, I was about to say the ID, but the clearance is what I should be saying, is about 1 1/8 inches. Okay, this is, they say 3/8 diameter. My caliper says 0.375. It couldn't be any more accurate. We'll include a couple of screws, 832 machine screws, a truss head style, for typical 3/4 inch drawer or cabinet fronts. Now the question is, where will you use this? Let's talk about that now. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Now, where would you use this pole? This is in essence what we would call a wire pole. Wire poles look exactly like this. They are this typical D shape. They are plus or minus this diameter. They can be 5/16. They can be a little thicker, a little thinner. They have particular centers to centers, and they always have this sort of clearance dimension. They're all very typical and generic, and they're always D-shaped like this, if we call it a wire pole. It's made out of wire, is the bottom line. Where you would use it? Well, first of all, this, because it's just typical stainless wire, it can be made really in any size that you want. We've made them as small as maybe 2 3/4 or perhaps 3 inch, and I know that we've done perhaps 12 or 18 inch, things of that nature. And the point being is the size is going to be commiserate or proportional or in accordance with your application. You may have simply taller doors. You may have, what I should say is a taller ceiling, so therefore your cabinetry is taller if it's a residential application. This is going to a client who does cabinet work, so probably ultimately residential. A little bit taller. Someone wants something a little bit larger than your standard 3 inch or 4 inch. 3 inch or 4 inch. And the important takeaway of talking about the size is whatever size you want, they'll make. There's no restriction in that regard for the most part, which is nice, because you might have 10-foot, 12-foot ceilings, and your cabinets have just grown with size. You might also have an application like a hospital, where you are going to install only material that is of extreme durability. While I wouldn't say that this would be necessarily extreme durability, putting cabinet hardware onto those cabinet doors or doors in patient rooms where the patient has the opportunity to lock up their valuables is not going to be a trip to the local home improvement store. You'll use something made of stainless in a thick size, in a center to center that is appropriate. Two things about that. Hospitals. This can be done in an antimicrobial coating. That would be another reason you would consider an item like this. That antimicrobial coating obviously deters, does not permit the fostering of growth of stuff that would be possible for transmission. So antimicrobial in today's day and age, post COVID-19, seems to have really come in pretty, and is going to stay. The concept of antimicrobial type coatings would be one reason why this would make perfect sense. And then of course, again, the other reason is that it's capable of being ordered to size. The fasteners, as I had said earlier, they're 1 inch length. That's for typical 3/4 inch drawer fronts. Indicate your door thickness. If you have something that's 1 1/4 inch, 1 3/8, I should say, 1 3/8, or any other size, put that in the comment field so they send you the right length machine screws. Okay. Whoa, sorry. Let's switch to the screen view, and my little light fell. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at some supporting information. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. Here is the item that we are looking at, and before we dive into that, let's take a look at some images that we have. There it is in its packaging. You can see the brushed texture to it. A little closer up. The tapped hole for the fasteners, and there are your 2 fasteners themselves. Okay, let's look at the extended description. Okay, here is the extended description information that we are looking at. Small cabinet wire door pull without base plates. Rockwood can make small little discs, basically, or washers that would sit underneath here to basically just change the look. It would be, the washer would be about 100 thousandths thick, maybe 1/8 of an inch, something in that range. If this is 3/8, they would probably be 5/8 or something in that range diameter, maybe 3/4 inch. Just changes the look. It's called a washer, is what it's called. They're calling them base plates here. The other reason that you might consider base plates, not on a wire pull, but possibly on a wire pull, is if you're installing hardware down to something that really can't suffer to have hardware tightened down to it. So when you add a base plate to the bottom of the wire pull, it increases that surface area, so you're not crushing the door in. The dimensional properties and the screws that I've mentioned. Center to center length's up to 18 inch. I don't know that there's a restriction on it after that. They might put a restriction on it only because your bar will probably flex after that point. But they can add a mid post, or we can increase the diameter of it as well. Cabinets, casework, and closets. Okay, now some documents linked to down below. Product brochure, let's take a look at that. This is the RM710, and what's nice about this chart is we'll show you the different diameters. 720 and 730, 1/2 inch and 5/8 respectively, with and without base plates. And you can see a reference to what those washers, discs, or base plates look like there. Handing chart doesn't apply to this at all. Nice to know, but doesn't apply. Printable cut sheet, same documentation. You can see where we're getting our image from. Although that does refer to the other finishes. US 10BE is a powder-coated dark bronze color. It's meant to be compatible with oil rub bronze, but it's powder-coated, which means it's a very durable finish, but it will be a stable finish. It won't change with time like oil rubbed will. 26D, 626 is satin chrome, 625 polished chrome, 613 oil rub bronze, 606 satin brass, 605 polished brass. Because this material is available in stainless and brass base material, they can do lots of finishes. They can powder coat dark bronze, they can powder coat black as well, and white, I believe, even red powder coating. They can do other finishes if you wanted polished nickel or antique nickel. They can do it. They've got the base material, and they most definitely have the willingness to entertain custom requests. Sample technical drawing. This is literally a drawing from a prior order at some point showing you the dimensional properties of the item. And again, that sample drawing, this is literally a job that we did previously at some point in the past. This was done, about March of 2020. Our appreciated client, ordered 54 of these. So we put that there so that you can see what a document would look like, or at least it's not an internal document, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't call it that because it gets sent out to us for approval. We'll sign this and send it back to the factory once we've verified that the dimensions meet the description of what the client is asking for. Now, there is a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. And when you click on that, that manufacturer's page is going to load. You'll be able to review not only all of the Rockwood products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as seen here, as well as a link to the full product catalog, as seen there. Okay, let's wrap up this video on camera. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. In conclusion, I had just mentioned that Rockwood has a measurable willingness to entertain custom requests. That's a pretty substantial understatement. It's very rare the instance where I've asked Rockwood if they can price or manufacture something and they can't. You know, they say that they can't quote it, but I believe their only limitation is just not having the equipment to do it, or the math or science to do it. You know, maybe impossible. So they're exceptional when it comes to that. If you needed this customized in one way for your application, they will do it. I have taken on that Rockwood manufacturer's page, there's a long example of Rockwood stepping in and helping me get something manufactured. A short example of that would be, you know, when you go into the store and they have gloves that are hanging on those plastic hangers, so to speak, small little plastic hangers, and there's a cutout in it that will fit onto the half-inch round, you know, merchandising bar sticking off. Well, this client, my client's client, had an unusual application where they needed a specific diameter, a specific length, with something else happening, and a specific method of manufacturing. So we were able to take one of Rockwood's coat hooks and have them modify their size and the mounting type to accommodate the fact that this client wanted to hang gloves in their ski shop. And it worked perfectly. So the fact that Rockwood plays along is tremendous. Any questions on the RM710 or any other Rockwood product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.